All right, you ready to go?
We are ready.
Let's do it.
All right. We want to welcome everybody tonight. This is the Town Hall for the Department of Art and Art History. I'm Libby Rowe, your Associate Chair. And with me on video right now are Greg Elliott, our Department Chair, and Jason Willamay, who some of you may or may not have seen, who will become our undergraduate advisor of record in the fall. So I asked him to have a face there. We have prepared a brief presentation about the merger and some of the questions that have been coming up through students talking to faculty, students talking to students, and things we've heard on the street. So we're hoping that this can answer some of your questions, but we'll give you time at the end to submit questions via the chat. And if you have a question that pops up while we're speaking, please feel free to put that in the chat. We will address them at the end. We're going to keep this to an hour-long presentation and question and answer period. And then we have the email address to which you can submit further questions if things still go unanswered, or if you come up with something that you want to know an answer to or have interest in knowing after the fact, we'll have that on the last slide. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to Greg and let him start with you all, and then I'll jump back in a little bit.
Hey, everybody. This started about 1 or 2 days before the fall semester started. We were informed that we were going to bring Southwest School into the department and into UTSA. At the same time this started, there was a major push forward to reorganize the College of Liberal and Fine Art. And as that worked through, we are becoming a School of Art. And then the two institutions are merging into one institution. What's coming with this is a whole new campus. It's and a group of 5 faculty members that'll join our department that were screened and hired to a very serious and scrutinizing process, as we always do. There will be some changes, and while change can be challenging, it's good for us. The department needs to move forward, and that's what we're about to do. There will be times when we have to figure things out as we move ahead. So business as usual will go on about 90% of the time, and about 10% we are going to have things. We've done everything we can to anticipate how things will move forward in the fall, but as all change precipitates, there will be times when we have to go, ooh, we hadn't thought of that. We have to fix it. So there's a lot of things still in the works. Getting students from here to downtown and downtown to here is something that we really are looking at carefully. I am advocating for a dedicated shuttle to do it. They're at the point where they're saying, well, there's a via route. I'm explaining to them why the via route isn't what we want and what we need. So some of this will continue to go on. And so we're gonna have to ask everybody to have some patience, that we are pretty committed, not pretty committed, Libby and I are very committed that we will find a way through one way or another so that everybody can complete their degrees. We can't guarantee that we can fix everything for every single student to the way you want it. We are now going to be a department of a little over 450 students as majors. This makes us one of the very largest departments in the United States. There are very few any bigger than us, and the ones that are bigger than us are just barely bigger than us. Okay, so of fine arts departments, we are truly one of the very largest. And so the end goal of all of this, and it will happen, is in 3 to 5 years, this will all mature into us being one of the most powerful and important art departments in the United States. And by powerful and important means it's a place you're going to get the best possible education in the most current trends in art and giving you the best ability to move on, whether that means going to graduate school or going into entrepreneurial work as an artist or getting a job in one of the many fields that we have. Good, Libby? Your turn.
Okay, I get to jump back in. So we're really excited about this because what this represents for us, I'm going to go back one slide just for a second. If I can, there we go, is because we have already been functioning kind of as a two campus entity, with our arts building being kind of one campus, and then people going back and forth between us and West Campus to get classes. Adding the downtown campus, or it's going to be called UTSA Southwest Campus, which is the Southwest, where the Southwest School of Art has been known to be. And then even possibly some courses in art history, if they make sense to be in some of the larger classrooms on our downtown campus. This is going to situate us in a much better position to make use of all of the arts institutions that are in San Antonio, to be more fluid in how we interact with San Antonio, especially through the downtown galleries that are at Southwest School, and through the additional facilities, and a really good continuing relationship with those community ed programs that they have through the adult classes, the teen classes, and the kids classes. So we're excited about all of this as we move forward. And one of the biggest things that we are excited about is the addition of some new staff and faculty. These are the 6 people that we will mostly be working with, or that we'll see the most face time with in this merger. Justin Boyd is going to be joining us in sculpture and integrated media. Joe Harjo in photography. Chris Sauter is painting and drawing. Jillian Sartori in metals, which will be a part of our sculpture program. Ryan Takaba in ceramics, and then Blake Kennedy is someone that you will see if you're working in the studios downtown as sort of a behind the scenes support person. He's been their studio manager for a long time and will likely be continuing in that role for us as we get things going. The facilities at UTSA Southwest are very similar to the facilities we have here, though a little different in scale. They have studios that include sculpture, photography, printmaking, ceramics, drawing, painting, and metals. And they also include some additional studios. There's the dedicated metal studio is something that we don't have here. And by metals, we're talking about small scale metal work, which is very different from the large scale welding and foundry work that we do on our campus. So that's a nice new addition to the course offerings that we have, as well as facilities, dedicated facilities for papermaking. They have a number of letter presses and the type for typesetting letters, or typesetting letter, I'm losing my words on that one, letterpress. They have some beautiful galleries that are right downtown, so it allows very great visibility for our community to see the things that students, grad students, and visiting artists or invited exhibitions can bring to our community. So we get to have a much louder voice in the community in that way, which is fabulous. This campus, because it is really 3 or 4 buildings on 2 small city blocks, allows us to do some things that we don't have as easy of a time doing on our campus. So we are bringing in a new curriculum that will include a lot of interdisciplinary courses. And what that means is that instead of a class in photography or sculpture or printmaking, we're bringing students from all the areas together under sort of an overarching idea or introduction to ideas. The first interdisciplinary courses we're offering downtown are both of our sections of Foundations 2, which will be incorporating both 2D and 3D principles and elements of design into one course. Will allow students to kind of experiment a little bit more than our current design foundation courses are doing. The interdisciplinary contemporary studio art classes are also going to be bringing people together under an idea-based course. So in the fall, we have 2 of those being offered. One is in narrative, and the other is in performing culture, performing gender, culture, and there's a third word that's not in my head right now. Those courses, while allowing us all to spread out to these different studios and bring the different skill sets that each of the students has from their different area emphasis together into one class, are also going to be aligned with our history courses that are of the same content. So you'll not only learn about the historic and contemporary ideas that fall under these classes, you'll be able to implement some of that into your work and potentially collaborative work or group work that is involved in these courses. We are also going to be we're going to be a part of the downtown community now in a great way and be able to participate in things like the citywide events like Fiesta, Chalk It Up, all sorts of different things that are happening. The Southwest School of Art, it generally has a role in, and so we'll be able to be a part of that in a very palpable way. Why a new curriculum, you might ask? This is something that we've been talking about for quite a long time. Right before COVID hit, we had started to have the kinds of faculty forum meetings to discuss what we felt was maybe a little bit old school in our program, and what we felt that we could add to our program to bring our program into a more contemporary arena, to give our students a better footing for leaving our program and moving forward into maybe a master's program or into working in the arts world as it is. Right as we started to gain momentum in making those changes and the proposal of those changes, COVID hit. And our attentions were, of course, switched to providing an education through virtual and hybrid kinds of technologies, which was a huge learning curve for our faculty and students. And right as that started to let up, this merger was presented to us the night before, in fact, school started last fall. So we decided to take this merger as an opportunity to move forward on our new curriculum. And that has happened at an incredibly fast pace, demanding that we all just sort of take the bull by the horns, make the changes, and bring you all along with us on that. This curriculum is it's gonna, of course, embrace those interdisciplinary kinds of courses, which is very much how many artists are working in art making today. We are going to be able to do these simply because of having the access to that campus downtown. And it's super exciting. I know that maybe because we haven't pulled you all together yet until now, the changes maybe seem a little bit more scary or unheard of or whatever, but we're all behind this. The faculty have been on board. The new faculty that are coming in are on board, and all of this is going to come together in a really exciting way that I think you all will be all about once it hits. So some of the main changes, and this is just a quick summary. There are a whole lot of little bits and pieces, but the main things are the contemporary studio. Contemporary studio concepts and practice, which you all know as Art 3033, is still going to be Art 3033. However, it is now called Interdisciplinary Contemporary Studio Topics. I'll talk about that a little bit more later when we talk about that class and what it entails and how you might, as a student under an old catalog, take this class, have it still count toward your graduation degree program and what you may or may not want to do while you're taking that class. Internships, which have been something that are available to you through our old catalog, are now a required part of all students' degree programs for the students who are entering under the new catalog, which will start this fall. Those are going to be required. So we're going to be using the new system that COLFA has to align students with interesting internships for them. And this is one of the places that we still have some nuts and bolts to work out. And again, as a student in the older catalog, you're not required to do that, but those are certainly available to you. And we would encourage all students to gain some practical and real world experience through an internship if that's something that interests you. BFA Senior Seminar and Exhibition, which is our capstone class for the BFA, is changing slightly. We've decided that we'd like to have a little bit more for students in terms of the ideation time and exploration time toward their senior project or toward their senior exhibition. So we're adding a second section that students would take as a senior the semester before the semester that they graduate. That class is called BFA Senior Seminar and Project. So it splits out into the project class and the exhibition class, which current students under old catalog or the current catalog will still just take the BFA Senior Seminar and Exhibition. However, the number is going to change slightly. So we'll want to make sure, we will be making sure that the advising folks are aware of that change. And we recognize, I was just meeting with a student in photo today who showed me her degree works, and it still is asking for, I mean, right now it's asking for the old number. That will probably change over the course of the summer. So you'll want to be working closely with your advisors, and if you need extra help, asking for that through Greg or I, or in the fall, Jason Willamay, as he takes over that UGAR position. And then the third exciting change with the senior seminar courses is that we've added a separate course for professionalism. And this doesn't mean that in the past incarnation of our catalog, professionalism has been vacant. It just has been a part of other classes. Contemporary Studio has had some of the professionalism. The senior seminar and exhibition classes have had some of this. And then individual studio, advanced studios have brought in the professionalism concerns and questions in different ways. This is allowing us to bring all of that knowledge together into one course so that we make sure that all students get access to all of this great information that helps you as you determine what direction your career is going to go after school. What does this all mean to you? Fine question. I inferred this a little bit a moment ago. Your catalog doesn't change. When you came in, you were assigned a starting catalog. That is the catalog that you are beholden to through your whole time here. So even though the current catalog and course offerings change, you can say, I would like to stay with my current catalog and fulfill those requirements as they have been delineated in that catalog. You can elect to follow the new catalog. And some of you that might be freshmen now or just entering a sophomore year, you'll find that those early requirements are very minimal, what the changes might be. But I want you to be really sure about any decision that you make in that regard, because it's all or nothing. You either decide the new catalog is yours to go with, or you decide the old catalog is. If you're staying with the old catalog, note that some of the courses that have been required in the past are either disappearing from course offerings or have been changed in either title or number. And we will be working on, again, Greg mentioned there's a lot of nuts and bolts. And one of the nuts and bolts is that advising and the department and degree works all have to kind of coordinate to make sure all of those little moments of requirements are correct. And those are going to take a little bit of work to get worked out, though I have no doubt we will be able to get that done for you all. And then any courses that have been eliminated are going to have some new substitutions that you can take new course offerings and have those count toward your old degree. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So in terms of who can help you navigate this process, the advisors are in on the new curriculum. They've been reviewing it. They found a couple of hiccups that we didn't find. We're working to alleviate those right now. As I mentioned, Jason is going to be our UGAR starting in the fall. We ask that you wait until fall to engage him in that process. But after that time, Jason, the undergraduate advisor of record, is our in-house kind of double checker, right? So if you know you need to meet with your advisor and they're putting you off for a little while for your meeting and you need something answered right away, Jason can be your go-to guy. And then between now and then, if you're really struggling to understand the changes and feel like something just doesn't seem right, contact through email or come into the office and ask me or ask Greg. We've been working very detailed with all of these changes, and we know the ins and outs pretty well. And if we do not have an immediate answer for you with your question, we will find the answer, create the answer, figure out who we need to coordinate with to make the right answer for our students. And we'll get that done in as quickly a time as we can. Okay, general substitution info. So there will be some things that are just blanket substitutions. And what these mean is anybody under the old catalogs who says, I already took all my art histories, but I want to take the new interdisciplinary contemporary studio, but it says I have to have art history with it. Well, if you've already taken them all, there's going to be a blanket substitution likely that says students under old catalogs do not need to take it with the art history that corresponds. The advisors will know which things are blanket, and we're working on getting those blanket substitutions all in place, though I'm seeing with the course override requests that there are some things that haven't been keyed into the system correctly. So we're working on fixing those as they come across our desks. Versus the individual request. And we've had the individual course substitution requests in place for a long time. There's course substitutions, there's course overrides that you're going to need to fill out. And generally those are generated from speaking with the instructor. I know that in the new system for advising or for registering, there are places where you can click a button and generate a course override request. I found today working with some people that they are showing some time conflicts, and there's no resolution that's recommended right there on the page. So in those places, if you're confused about what you need to submit, go to the advisor, come to the office, and we'll direct you in the right way or the right place to find those forms. All right, so some examples of course substitutions that you might find that you will need. One is Art 3033, which has been our contemporary studio art. It's now interdisciplinary contemporary studio art topics. They're the topics that align with art history classes each semester. What we recommend is that if you have not taken all of your art history electives, that you take the Art 3033 with the art history 4353 of the same topic. It's going to enrich your learning. It's going to enrich your understanding of how these topics have been engaged in contemporary art. And it's going to help you have sort of a richer direction of learning because of that interdisciplinary context. If you've already taken all of your art histories, you don't have to take the art history credit with the 3033. Again, hopefully that will be a blanket override soon. And if not, we'll do an individual course override or co-requisite override, I believe it's called, and we'll get you into that class. Again, ask your instructor of record for the course override. You should be able to just write your reason as old catalog student, co-requisite not required, and that will let you into those classes. So for advanced studio art classes, I've noticed a lot in the past couple of semesters that there's a lot of students who kind of get toward the end of their degree and they have 2 semesters left, but they need 3 advanced studio arts in their area of emphasis. We want you to take your area of emphasis every semester as long as you can, because that is going to give you I always tell my students, it's kind of like a suitcase that you're trying to fill. And the more different times you take that class, the more different pieces, articles of clothing or techniques you're going to put into your suitcase before you leave. In addition to that, if you need a second class, here are some of the options that you can take that would be able to be counted toward your area of emphasis advanced studio art. So the Art 3933 is a studio seminar. It's the professionalism studio seminar. So you can think about taking that. You can only take it once. You'll also on new catalog only be able to take that once, but it will be a required credit rather than a potential for this substitution. In the fall, we have a class called Contemporary Craft. We've asked Jillian Sartori, who is our metalsmith, to teach that class. And partly we've designed that class to be sort of a comfortable landing spot for some of the Southwest school students who are feeling a little nervous about being a part of a larger university. And partly we wanted to open it up to our students as a potential for an interesting topic of study. I know that craft is a part of all of our different areas. There are craft components to photography and printmaking and ceramics. And certainly if you are making sculpture from fibers or other found materials, there are certain craft aspects of that. So that's a class that I would encourage people to look into. And it's a great way to meet and experience one of our new faculty. The Art 4833 internship in the visual arts. Again, if you've already taken one, there are 2 allowed to count per degree. So you could take that and any internship will count towards your advanced area of emphasis. The 4983, which is the same number as the old exhibition class, is now our project class, senior seminar and project. So if you are a student staying in the old catalog, your new requirement for the exhibition will be the 4993. So you could take this 4983 projects class as an advanced studio art class. Any of these courses can be used for upper division studio art for students who need to take 2 in one semester. So again, we want you to take your area of emphasis. If you're a photo student, we want you to take advanced photo with whoever's teaching that, but then you could use one of these 4 classes as a way to get yourself up to that place where you're ready to do one advanced class and your senior show exhibition class in the spring or in the last semester that you're with us. Okay, art history. There are a couple of different things that are changing in art history as well. One of the things that you'll notice is that there are topics classes listed under 2 numbers. 4333 is the number we've always used for the advanced art history topics. We also have those same topics in the 4353. The 4353 section is reserved for students who are also taking 3033. The 4333 topic section is open to anyone who has an art history elective that they want to take who's interested in that topic. So it allows for us to hold some spots for our studio students who need the correlating class, but also it opens up the opportunity for others. Another art history change that you might notice is that we have removed the 3rd survey class, which was Modern Art Survey. That class content, we've sort of taken the 3 that we had and moved them to be 2 surveys, and with the same kind of timeline change, right? So we've compressed our timeline into 2 courses instead of 3. And this has been done to align with the Texas credits that people are transferring in from our 2-year programs or other universities as they come into our program. The other thing that we've done is we've taken the 3 courses that were listed as 3000 level. So one of those was contemporary art. One of those was Latin American art, and the 3rd one is escaping me, but those have all just been given 4000 level numbers. So you'll take your 2 surveys and then you move into the 3000 levels. If you still need to take that modern art survey, you should substitute the 4000 level contemporary art class. And I'm hoping that will be one of those blanket substitutions, but if it doesn't show up as a blanket, we'll put you in as an individual. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, things are coming to our attention. We knew that there were going to be glitches. Everything has been done so quickly that the systems that they've changed this year in conjunction with a new curriculum and changes in classes have just made a kind of a mountain of moments that we need to look at and fix individually. Some of the things that I've noticed are there were a lot of unassigned classes earlier today. We just went ahead and assigned all of those classes to me. So know that if you see a class that's listed under my name, it is likely that that will be one of our new faculty that are not yet in our system from Southwest School of Art. Possibly there are a couple of classes listed that our wonderful Sarah Lastly was slated to teach. And if you haven't heard, we're sad to hear that she is leaving us and moving to California to teach out there. So just note that your instructor will be assigned over the summer as people are added into the system. There are some closed classes. Those classes that are closed right now are not offered at this time. We have instituted, and I know that there were some wait lists that were turned off earlier today. We've instituted wait lists for all of our classes. So if we notice that there's enough students wanting another section of a class, we have ways that we can go about requesting additional classes be opened. The wait lists are our best sort of defense against or our best approach to getting those potential classes opened. So we ask that if you are a person who is trying to get into a class and can't get on that wait list, but please do go ahead and enroll in other courses so that you have the number of credits you need for financial aid or scholarships or any of the other reasons that you might need a full slate of classes. We've noticed that we're getting a glut of course overrides. So please, please, please just have patience. Some of them we are having to do a little research on before we can approve them, but we will process through those as quickly as possible. And then we're still figuring out those blanket overrides and places that DegreeWorks may be a little bit off. Nuts and bolts. The nuts and bolts are, for every one we solve, there's 3 more added to it. So as Greg mentioned, we've got the VIA bus route. We're talking about shuttles. As we get more information, we will start putting that information out into the world for you all. We will use email to communicate. It is likely that we'll start putting these updates onto our website. But as we're moving forward, just know that we will periodically update you on changes as we get them. You'll note that there is a time change for our 3rd studio art block in the day. Instead of a 3 to 5:45 class, we've had to move that section or that time slot to 4 to 6:45. We recognize that might be challenging for some people who have jobs, but we had to do that to allow for the movement between downtown and main campus for both our faculty and our students, as we were asked to implement classes on the new campus. That is a change that we had to embrace. There are those few classes that are only offered at UTSA Southwest. So if you are a student who needs Foundation 2, or you are a student who needs a contemporary interdisciplinary contemporary studio art, those are only offered this fall semester at Southwest School. We did not do that to torture anyone. We did that because of that opportunity to use that campus and have students work in multiple studios at one time. So the nature of those courses, the design of those courses requires that we have those downtown. And we appreciate that that might be challenging, but that's where we are with this curriculum. So we ask you to come and ask questions, and we'll help you figure out ways to make things work as needed. Again, I mentioned those issues in DegreeWorks. Those are out of our control, other than letting the people who fix DegreeWorks know that they are there, and hopefully they'll fix things as quickly as possible. Your advisors should be able to work with you to double check your DegreeWorks and see where those glitches may be. If you have a complaint, we will take it. We will listen to your complaints. We will note those complaints, and we will move forward with them as we are looking at this program over the next year. But we also ask that whenever you have a complaint, you offer a solution, because the best way for us to all move forward is to be looking toward that future and seeing how we get from here to there. And the more solutions that are offered, the easier it is for us to find that path forward and fix things for you all. And as Greg mentioned, our art school is poised to be one of the largest art departments in the country, which is great for you as students. The more people hear about us and know about us, the bigger our reputation becomes in Texas, which is a state with many art programs that are very well thought of, as well as in this country, the more clout your degree holds as you move forward. So these changes are investments that we've made in our program and our department in service of our students. And we believe that these will help you as you define your futures in the arts. So this is the end of our formal presentation. We anticipate a number of questions. I'm going to ask that people who have questions register those in the chat right now, and we'll start looking through those one by one until we meet our hour. And then after that, if something wasn't answered or you think of something beyond this meeting, please submit those to artdepartment.workstudy@utsa.edu. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask folks who have questions to submit those in the chat. If you want to also speak out loud, you can sure do that, but if you put it in the chat, I've got it as a record for later, and we're happy to address any. If you do choose to speak, please turn on your video so we can see who you are. And if nobody has questions at this time, because my presentation was so thorough, or you're so overwhelmed by the ideas that were presented, please know you can email questions and we'll follow up.
So Libby, we have a question. This is from Madison Quinca, and she's saying she has a couple of questions here. The first one is, does the new BFA senior seminar change also affect the BA seminar?
No, it does not. The BA seminar is offered as it has been offered in the past under the same number. So if you're a BA student, you will just aim yourself toward that capstone, the same capstone.
And then her second part is, if we're taking the original art 3033 contemporary studio class, but haven't taken all the art history courses, do we have to take the new art 3033 as well if we want to take another art history?
No, you do not. Remember, the two art history codes are AHC 4533 and AHC 4353, 4333 and 4353. The 4333 is open art history courses. You can take any of those, regardless of whether you need the studio. If you want to take 3033 and the art history at the same time, you need to use the AHC 4353 number. So in your question, you would just take a 4333 or the other 4,000 numbers for contemporary art or Latin American art, which are lower than that number, I think. 40, I don't have those in my head. You're welcome. Oh, Greg, we can't hear you. Are you muted?
Yeah, I would like to add that if you are taking 3033 and you still have art history to take, that I would really advise you to look into taking the paired set, because the art history is going to be connected to what you're doing in 3033, which is a new kind of way to do this, where it's not just art history over here and studio over here. They're really being put together, which is where it becomes really useful. So do look at that. Any more questions?
While we're waiting, I'm going to flash back up that last slide. So if people need to know where to email questions, you can do that. Whoop, here we go.
I know I can also say that today, on 2 different occasions, and once yesterday, I had lots of questions as I'm just working around campus. Libby is around and about. Jason's around and about. We're all out around and about. Don't be shy about asking. If we don't know an answer, we're going to try to find it for you. Our goal is to make sure that nobody gets lost in the cracks here. And we're pretty good at that. So
okay.
If you have an issue and we don't know about it, we can't try to help fix it. So
we have a couple more. Jacqueline asks, I might have missed this, but if we want to retake the 3033, do we have to take the art history paired with it? Not at this time. If you are under that old catalog, you can do the co-requisite override And this presentation, both the recording and then the presentation saved as a PDF will be sent out to students or posted on the website for the department. And you can go look at that slide. It tells specifically what you want to say on your co-requisite override. Old catalog, art history not required.
And please be sure to remember that 3033 is a course that can only be taken once for credit. If you are retaking it because you didn't finish it the first time, that's fine. But if you're trying to take it for second credit, you really need to come see me or Libby, and we can give you some alternative ideas if you want to take additional work at a higher level.
Okay. Abigail, I am not 100% sure I understand your question. You say, when will the updated course offerings be available? They're available for fall semester. The catalog will go live, I think, for 2022. I'm not 100% sure of the date. Greg, do you know when those catalogs usually are put into the world?
They're scheduled to come online in late July. Okay. They are usually on time with it, but of course, as I point out, with UTSA's traditions, that means they're usually about 2 months behind when we need them, which is registration now. So,
right. So if you have a question about a specific class, what it entails, you can sure feel free to reach out to me or ask that question through the art department.work study, and we'll be monitoring those emails and responding to folks. Brianna, not a question, but I definitely wish I would have known all this before registering, because now I want to change my schedule once it reopens. Yes, go ahead and do that. I don't think it'll be difficult to get those things done, but if you run into a problem, let us know.
And come to the art office and see Rocky. We are having some issues with the prerequisites getting through to us. If you're running in and even if you're starting to just get panicky about it, if you come up here and see me or see Libby, we can get you right into Rocky and we can step right over that process. Now, don't 300 of you show up at once. We only got 3 people up here. So, but if you are getting to like where you're just getting panicky or you rolled and now have to re-enroll, come on up, we can help with it.
Yes. Jacqueline also asked who is slated to teach the 3033. There are 2 3033s. The course on narrative that aligns with Dr. Scherer's art history was slated to be taught by Sarah Lastly, and I believe that we are going to be assigning that class to Kim Bishop, who was a part of the original grant that Scott and I and Sarah wrote to support that course and the development of that course through the activities that are going to be involved in that course. It's about narrative and cultural storytelling traditions, things like that. So Kim Bishop, who has just taken down her show, was one of the 3 thesis shows that was up for the past couple of weeks. And then the second 3033 course is Performing Culture, Gender, and Identity. And that course is slated to be taught by Joe Harjo, who's one of our new faculty from Southwest School. Joe makes work that is in alignment with that content. And so he was a perfect fit or a natural fit for that class. And I think it will be right up his alley and an exciting place for students who are interested in culture, in gender, in identity, politics, and how those things can be, I'm going to say, quote unquote, performed, because the title of that course suggests that you're going to have to do performance art. But it actually is not a performance art class. It's an interdisciplinary class. So you can perform gender through making objects. And this is something that I also do in my artwork. I would say Joe's work, if you look him up online, you'll see a lot of performing culture through non-performance-based works. And my work, I perform gender through non-performance-based works. I also do performance-based works, and so does Joe, but we do it through a number of different ways. And that interdisciplinary topics class, studio class, will allow people the space to explore and define their own way of doing that. All right, I think. Could we see the slide with the incoming professors again? Yes, you sure can. There we go. Each of these faculty members is bringing in a very unique set of skills, a different way of engaging with their own studio practice and with contemporary art. And so we were pretty excited to be able to bring these 5 faculty on board for you all to meet and experience. Oh, you're muted again.
I can add that 3 of the 6 have been at UTSA before, so they're not total strangers to us and our ways. So.
True. Yes, Audrey Legali is one of our grads that has gone through our program and is now teaching for us. And she was an undergrad at Southwest School of Art. So she is kind of a legacy person here, being kind of on all the different levels of what we do at UTSA. And we have a couple of other grad students who were a part of the undergrad programs down there. And we kind of want to emphasize to people that this experience for the Southwest School students, one of the reasons that we've been focused so much on their transition is because being at a small art school with only, 45 to 50 majors is a very different experience than coming to a state university with 432 majors?
450 now.
And we'll be up to a department of 450 majors, which is going to be very different. They're going to feel a little lost. They're going to feel a little bit overwhelmed. And we hope that you all will welcome them in and help them see that the experience that they're getting with our faculty is not all that different from the smaller scale classes that they had with their faculty downtown. Any other questions?
On that note, we'll say good night.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you adding your questions into the mix, and everyone should feel free to email, encourage your friends to look for the email that has the link to where this is posted, the recording is posted, and watch it, and to submit questions as they have them. And with that, we will say good night. Be well.
Night all.